All right, let's talk about something that's kind of the unsung hero in the whole data world, data wrangling. It's this super important job of taking total digital chaos and turning it into something useful, and you'd be surprised just how crucial it really is.
So here's a thought. Why is it that most data science isn't really science? I mean, you hear all the time that data scientists spend, what, like 80% of their day not doing the cool stuff like analysis or building models. So what are they actually doing? Well, the answer is pretty simple, actually. Real-world data, it's a total mess. It's never clean, it's not organized, and you can't just plug it in and go. It's just chaos. And you can't really do science with chaos, right? And look, this mess isn't just some minor headache. It is the single biggest bottleneck in all of data analytics. Before you can even think about finding those cool insights, you've got to wrestle that data into submission first.
And that mess can look like a million different things. I mean, you've got different file formats all over the place, columns that don't line up, duplicate entries, wrong entries, and data types all mixed together. Don't even get me started on inconsistent labels for the exact same thing. It's basically the Wild West out there.
So, when you're facing all that chaos, who are you going to call? This is where our hero steps in. You don't need a scientist yet. Nope. What you need is a wrangler.
So, what is data wrangling? You might also hear it called data munging. It's this absolutely essential process of taking that raw, messy, basically unusable data and just taming it. You're transforming it into something clean, structured, and finally ready to be analyzed.
Okay, but how does this actually work? How do you go from chaos to order? Well, a data wrangler has a whole toolkit of techniques. Let's dig into a couple of the big ones.
First up, we have reshaping. A really common job is taking data from what's called a wide format, we can see it on the left there, where every quarter has its own column, and turning it into a long format. See how on the right we've kind of stacked the data? We have one column for the quarter and one for the sales. Now, this might look a little weird to our eyes, but for computers and analytical tools, this long format is way more flexible and powerful.
All right, so another key tool is pivoting. Now, if reshaping often makes data longer, pivoting can do the opposite. It can make it wider, but in a really smart way. It basically takes the values from a column and turns them into new columns. I know, that sounds a little weird, so let's just look at an example.
Okay, so check out this table. You see that column called category? It's got food and travel in it? And that's fine. But what if you wanted to quickly see for that one date how the food and travel spending compare? And voila. This is what happens after pivoting. We literally took the words food and travel and made them their own columns. The data is wider? Sure, but now you can just glance at that one row and immediately compare the spending. So much easier.
So all this stuff, the reshaping, the pivoting, it's all working towards a simple but powerful idea called the tidy data principles. It's really elegant. The goal is one variable gets one column, one observation gets one row, and one table holds one type of information. That's it. That's the guiding light for a data wrangler.
Okay, but what if your data doesn't even start out as a table? This happens all the time, especially with data from APIs. It comes in these nested formats like this JSON here. You can see you've got customer info, and then tucked inside that, there's a list of their orders. You can't just paste this into a spreadsheet, right? It won't work.
And this is where wrangling is just magic. There's a process called flattening that takes that messy, nested structure and just unpacks it. It intelligently pulls everything out and puts it into a nice, clean table. See? Now every single piece of data has a home, and it's all ready to go. So we've seen a little bit of the how, but let's get to the really important part, the why. Why go through all this trouble? I mean, it can be a ton of work. Well, it's because this is how you turn that chaos into real, actual clarity.
Because let's be real, without it, nothing down the line works, period. Good wrangling is what makes your analysis accurate in the first place. It's what lets you build those beautiful charts and graphs. And it's absolutely the foundation for any good machine learning model. You've heard it before, garbage in, garbage out. It has never been more true.
And this really gets to the heart of it. You can have the fanciest, most advanced AI model in the world. You can have a supercomputer, but if the data you're feeding it is a mess, your results are going to be junk. It is that simple and that critical.
Okay, so if you're thinking, I want to get good at this, how do you do it like a pro? There are a few key best practices that you should probably tattoo on your brain.
First, and this is a big one, never touch the original, raw data. Always work on a copy. Second, Check your work after every little change you make. It's way easier to catch a mistake right away. Third, write down what you're doing. Document your steps so you or someone else can do it again. And finally, don't try to do everything at once. Break a huge, messy job down into tiny, manageable pieces.
So let me leave you with this thought. We've all heard that saying, data is the new oil, right? But think about it. Crude oil, just pulled out of the ground, isn't actually that useful. You can't put it in your car. It's the refinery that turns it into gasoline, into plastic, into all the valuable stuff. And that's exactly what data wrangling is. It's the refinery. It's the process that takes the raw stuff and makes it incredibly, incredibly valuable.